Okay, so hello again, everybody. Dan here, and this is For Your Mental Health. So I'm back with another video today, and it's one I wasn't really expecting to make, honestly. Last video I did was the top 5 ways I deal with depression. If you watched that video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in and checking out my channel. But today we talk about a different subject and something that is become very prevalent all across the world, and that is the effect of coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. I wanted to make a video because it's something that affects everybody in the world, and it's important to realize that we're in this together. So hopefully this video can raise awareness on the mental health aspects of coronavirus, because you don't really hear a lot about that in the news media or maybe from your friends or your community. It's something that affects your anxiety and stress levels quite a bit. Rather than talk about more the physical aspects of the virus, let's talk about what it can cause to you and to your mental health. So I found actually an article on this subject on the CDC website. I'll link that below. And it's called How to Manage Stress and Anxiety, basically. So the first set of sentences here talks about stress and coping. So I'm just going to go ahead and read what it says here. The outbreak of coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19, may be stressful for people. Fear and anxiety about a disease can be overwhelming and cause strong emotions in adults and children. Coping with stress will make you, the people you care about, and your community stronger. So that's the first paragraph in the stress and coping section of the article. I do think that coping with stress and anxiety about the virus will certainly make everything better for you and for those involved, because people's stress levels are high right now. Because they're not sure, where their next rent payment is going to come from, if they'll even have a job in the next week, how they can put food on the table, if they're going to get the virus at all. I mean, these are things that people have to deal with. So coping with it is very important. Everyone reacts differently to stressful situations. How you respond to the outbreak can depend on your background, the things that make you different from other people, and the community that you live in. So that's certainly true. People, when they see the face masks here, I think people get a little worried. It gets them a little freaked out, because that's not something that people from America are used to seeing all the time. But if you go to countries in Asia, like Japan, South Korea, China, places like that, for them it's commonplace to see the face masks, because for them that means someone's sick and they're trying not to breathe the germs and the bacteria out of their mouth and out of their nose into other people's areas as they're walking in public. So it's kind of a safety precaution there to deal with different sicknesses, and certainly now dealing with a pandemic that we have of coronavirus. So yeah, people in different places, different situations in that way can definitely have different reactions to the virus. People who may respond more strongly to the stress of a crisis include older people and people with chronic diseases who are at higher risk for COVID-19, children and teens, people who are helping with the response to COVID-19, like doctors and other healthcare providers or first responders, people who have mental health conditions, including problems with substance abuse. Those are all instances where you could basically respond more strongly to the stress, because for the older people who are more at risk, or people with chronic diseases, I mean, there's a higher chance of mortality there. So obviously people are afraid it could take their lives, and that's a very legitimate response for people who fit that category. People who are helping with the response, so like first responders, doctors, other healthcare providers, nurses, I mean, they're very brave to take on this tall task of trying to contain this virus and basically flatten the curve, as the scientists say, and try to reduce the amount of cases, and have people not spread the virus by quarantining and making sure that they're trying the best they can to recover. So that's very important, the bravery of those doctors and healthcare professionals. I tip my hat to them, absolutely. That's a big one. People who have mental health conditions, including problems with substance abuse, I mean, people who are normally stressed that turn to drugs and alcohol, I mean, it's just going to up the ante a bit. That's just going to add on to their worries and might even make them, use more of their substance that they were using before. So, if you know people in your life that are like that, please make sure to check up on them and make sure that, they're in good spirits, considering everything that's going on, and, do your best to, talk to people. And to make sure that people know that they're not alone and they don't have to turn to these substances, that they can actually, turn to someone they love and someone they care about that can listen to what's going on in their mind. So yeah, please do that as well. Stress during an infectious disease outbreak can include fear and worry about your own health and the health of your loved ones. So that kind of goes along with what we were just talking about. Changes in sleep or eating patterns, difficulty sleeping or concentrating, worsening of chronic health problems, increased use of alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs. So that kind of goes along with all the stuff we were saying before. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about these set of bullet points. I will say that that's, sometimes when you are stressed in this kind of environment, you do lose sleep, and you do change your eating habits because you are under a certain amount of worry that things aren't going to go right with you or your family, or people that you care about in your community, because the virus is affecting a lot of people. Maybe it's harder to find toilet paper or hand sanitizer or different foods that you may need for certain dietary needs. Those things can definitely up the ante as far as, worrying about your life. I think a lot of us have experienced that in some way, absolutely. Taking care of yourself, your friends, and your family can help you cope with stress. Helping others cope with their stress can also make your community stronger. So that's what we were just kind of talking about. Checking up on people that might be greatly affected by this, that they might turn to a certain addiction that they have that may affect their life. That's the way they cope, their coping mechanism normally, and you want to make sure that they're on a healthy track. Absolutely. Also, this kind of speaks to maybe volunteering. I've heard that there's different Facebook pages that people just post things that they need, like if they need groceries, if they're in their house and they can't do anything. Right now there's going to be a stay-at-home mandate that has been issued in Illinois. Actually, I think the grocery stores are going to be open. So maybe you could still do this. You could go to the grocery store, buy things, drop it on someone's doorstep, and they could pick it up, and there's no actual personal interaction. You'd be safe from contracting anything that they have, and yeah, they wouldn't have to worry about infecting you. So that would make a lot of sense to do that. So people have different little things that they need to figure out during this crisis. Going to the grocery store is a big one, obviously. And just if we can help each other out by, maybe fixing something outside of someone's house or getting someone's mail, just checking up on people in some way, I think that's great. I think that's a great way to pass the time during this crisis and to feel good that you're helping people in your community. So that's always important, absolutely. So this part is particularly important, so I'll probably spend most of my time talking about this section, which involves things you can do to support yourself. So, I can relate to a lot of these. We have take breaks from watching, reading, or listening to news stories, including social media. Hearing about the pandemic repeatedly can be upsetting, and that's certainly true. When I look at my Facebook page, I see a lot of stories about the pandemic, a lot about coronavirus, COVID-19, and how different governments are, being overwhelmed by the amount of cases. We've heard a lot about Italy, of course, China, where it started, has had the worst of it, although they are seemingly in a better state now than they were before, which is good to hear. But Italy's been overtaken. Iran has been in deep in the COVID-19 problems, so they've had trouble responding to it. Obviously, here in the U.S., we've had our issues too. So it's tough to hear all these different stories day in, day out, and all these different updates. It's good to have updates, obviously. It's good to see that they're trying to make things better of the situation, but honestly, it can be a bit much for someone's mental health, for mine and for maybe yours too. I've actually been watching more humorous videos online when I'm feeling like I'm getting a bit overwhelmed by all the coronavirus stuff. So I recommend a YouTube channel, Smosh Pit, Smosh Games. They're like skit actors that they do little like videos of like try not to laugh. That's one of my favorite sets of videos they do, where they just try not to. You have to try not to laugh as they're coming in and doing little like skits and things. It's pretty random, but it's pretty hilarious. So I definitely recommend them if you're looking for something to make you smile, make you laugh when it can be hard to do so. When it can be tough to find reasons to enjoy life. These videos certainly help me out. So I definitely recommend that. Take care of your body. Take deep breaths, stretch or meditate. Try to eat healthy, well-balanced meals, exercise regularly, get plenty of sleep, and avoid alcohol and drugs. That's something that I think is sort of, a universal thing where, You would normally do that anyway if you're trying to live a healthy lifestyle and feel good about yourself, take care of your body, meditate. These are all things that can help the average person in any situation where you're trying to better yourself. So I definitely take care of my body. I work out 3 times a week. Try to. The gym might be closed by the time this video goes up, so might have to do some more home workouts. But there's a lot of great content on YouTube, not just my channel, but a lot of great channels that can give you tips on how to work out or how to meditate or how to breathe, how to stretch. It's a great time to have all these things available to us because if we're locked in our houses and we can't get out because of a quarantine, it makes it difficult to socialize and have classes and have different groups of people sharing ideas. But at least we have that. At least we have our sort of digital version of community that can really help people out. It helps me out all the time, for sure. I try to get a lot of sleep when I can. Sometimes some nights are better than others for whatever reason. I mean, some things get in your head and you're just like, I can't sleep because I'm thinking about this, or just your body's in a weird state. I don't know. It just sometimes it's hard to get sleep, but also you have to put in the effort. If you're going to sleep at 2 a.m. every night, it's probably not the best idea if you're trying to wake up by 8 a.m. Because you're only getting like 6 hours of sleep, and your body probably needs around 8. I think that's the common number that people have agreed on, is 8 hours of sleep per night is a good number. Obviously, it's different for everybody, but somewhere around there is probably your best bet. So yeah, definitely get enough sleep. It's going to leave you less stressed and give you more energy throughout the day, which is good. Make time to unwind. Try to do some other activities that you enjoy. I try to go and walk around. I try to listen to music as much as I can when I'm walking. It gives me a lot of joy to hear like a lot of different music and to jam out, to sing along to a lot of different songs, and to walk around my community. So I think I mentioned that in the top 5 ways I deal with depression video. So that's something that still rings true during this time of coronavirus, COVID-19, all these things. It's very important to be able to get your mind off the situation by staying active in some ways and do things that you like. Like I've started to play more guitar, or maybe more Japanese. I've been trying to do that anyway, but I think now there's more time to do it. So, it's nice to have, I guess, that more creative time. Maybe I'll get back to drawing too, who knows? But whatever floats your boat, whatever you like to do creatively, this would be the time to do it, for 2 reasons. One, because you're probably quarantined in your house right now and you can't do much. Also, it's a way to get your mind off the situation and to have a creative voice and to be able to kind of work through your feelings in a way that makes sense for you, because you have certain talents that I don't. I have certain talents that you don't. Everybody's different. So for you might want to go and paint a picture, or you might want to write more of your novel, or write some poetry, make a video, whatever you want to do. Go ahead and do it. That's important. It's important to keep yourself motivated and your spirits high, and being creative. So that goes back to my depression video once again. And then we have connect with others, talk with people you trust about your concerns and how you're feeling. Well, that's a hard thing to do when you're locked in your house, right? Unless you live with other people, which I do live with 2 other roommates, so I do get to talk to them a little bit and have chats and things, which is great. I really enjoy talking to my roommates about stuff, about the coronavirus, about whatever's going on in their life, whatever's happening in my life. It's kind of a nice back and forth. So at least I'll still have that for the next couple weeks or so. But if you're a person that lives by yourself and you don't really get to do that a lot, I mean, that can be really difficult because you're in your house all the time, you're in your apartment all the time, you're on your computer, playing video games, watching TV. So there's not a lot of, time with maybe other people, so to speak. But like I said, the best we can do right now is we have technology to guide us. There's a VR chat, which I think is interesting. I've seen some videos about VR chat recently that I thought were really cool. Porter Robinson shared a really great one that you should definitely check out.
So I saw online that somebody made this VR chat model of me, which of course I really, really liked and thought was super cool. And so I really wanted to be able to use this on my own. And
so type in Porter Robinson VR chat and it'll probably come up. And you can meet people through a VR headset. And have little chats with them and wear different avatars with different characters.
And this is the stuff I'm the most excited about in the whole world. Is everything with VR. Yeah. And so I'm trying my best to follow that. Thank you. That makes me so. That's so crazy that you said that to me. So thank you.
That you can customize and stuff. It's really cool. So I actually haven't tried it myself yet, but I've seen some great videos on that. But on even a lesser scale, we have Face Chat, FaceTime, Skype, whatever messenger that you use, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Twitter, however you connect with people otherwise. That's kind of the flip side of social media. I know we talked about social media earlier and its detriments to society, but it does have a lot of great positive features as well, like being able to communicate across long distances through technology, through the internet, and being able to still know what's going on with people that you care about, even if you can't be right next to them. So it still does have that. It's still a great feature of the internet, of social media. So, please use that and keep your spirits up, as best you can. So it is a trying time, but we can still connect with others in that way, which is nice. All right. So hopefully you got something out of this video. Hopefully it helped you in some way. Once again, it's a video I didn't really want to make. I was hoping that this whole coronavirus situation would have been taken care of many months ago. That would have been contained, but unfortunately it's not the case, and it has become a global pandemic of sorts. So it's important to recognize that and be able to take preventions into consideration and make sure we're all looking out for each other, because we're all in this together, of course. And your mental health is something that you cannot take for granted, especially in a situation of this sort. So best of luck to you and to the ones that you care about, and do your best to have some joy in the situation, to have some humor, to find a better place, because ultimately it's going to help you get through this, help us all get through this, to make ourselves laugh when it can be hard to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate your support, and as always, follow your instincts, stay safe, and peace out for now, y'all.